Hello, today I discuss in this video lecture regarding structure of proteins. Earlier I discussed the basic chemistry of amino acids and how these amino acids are linked together, or how these amino acids are bonded with each other in a definite sequence in order to give rise structure of a protein, or how this sequence ultimately determines the basic character and uniqueness of a protein. Now, the structure of protein depends upon arrangement of amino acid molecules within a definite space or a pattern. How these amino acids are arranged in a space, or what ultimately their arrangement pattern, or in what pattern the amino acids are arranged, the structure of a protein can be categorized as primary structure, that is 1-degree structure, secondary structure, that is 2-degree structure, tertiary structure, that is 3-degree structure, and quaternary structure. So, on the basis of arrangement of these amino acid in a definite pattern in a space, on the basis of this, the structure of protein can be of following 4 types as I discussed. It can be primary structure, it can have secondary structure, it can also have tertiary structure or 3-degree structure, and quaternary structure. So one by one I will discuss primary, secondary and tertiary as well as quaternary structure of protein. So let us explore the structure of protein from primary structure. So anyhow, as I said, in my previous lecture, I stated that amino acid, which I here abbreviated as AA, this AA indicates amino acids are difunctional moieties, or amino acids are difunctional molecule. And why I am saying that amino acids are difunctional molecule, this is due to presence of NH2 and COOH group. This COOH group is acidic in nature, and NH2 group is basic in nature. Now, these are due to presence of two functional group, we are saying that amino acids are difunctional moiety. Now, what is the importance of this group, or how these groups are important? These groups are important because they are basically involved in order to form a protein. If in a case if amino acid lack these two groups, that is COOH and NH2 group, it is anyhow then not be possible to yield a protein in absence of either these two groups or in absence of anyone among these two groups, because these groups are basically involved for the generation of peptide linkage, which ultimately holds amino acid together. So, in order to give rise a structure of protein, 20 different amino acids are sequenced in a particular sense with the help of peptide bonds which hold the amino acid in order to give rise structure of protein. Now the protein may contain a single peptide unit, or a protein can contain only one polypeptide chain, or it can contain two polypeptide chain. Now technically, a protein is said to be peptide if it contains amino acid sequence which are less than 50. However, a protein is said to be polypeptide if it contains amino acid sequence greater than 50. So on the basis of total number of amino acid so present, in a protein, it can further be, or it can usually be called as peptide or a polypeptide. However, the peptide and polypeptide can be distinguished or discriminated among each other via presence of particular amino acids. Now, this is what all about regarding in short, regarding the amino acid. So again, this particular arrangement of amino acid with the help of these two functional units, and when these difunctional groups of different amino acids join together and it will give rise to a chain of amino acid. This ultimately indicates primary structure of protein. So the primary structure of protein is the lowest level of arrangement of atoms in a protein with the help of covalent bond. And this arrangement of atom in a protein, if give rise to a straight chain like structure as it is indicated here, this is the primary structure of protein. So the primary structure of protein, here these circles indicates amino acids, and the in between lines, these circles are amino acid, and the in between lines, in between these circles or amino acid, this indicates the bond which is formed between two amino acid in order to link than each other. So this particular arrangement of amino acid in such a manner with each other in order to give rise a chain-like structure indicates primary structure of amino acids. Primary structure of protein. Now in this structure, as we can see, at one side we are having free COOH group, and on another side of this chain we have free NH2 group. These are the same group which we have discussed earlier while discussing the di-functional nature of amino acid. So, in a case when this COOH group is at terminal end of amino acid, this or that particular terminal end is known as C terminal. And on the other hand, if this amino group or NH2 group is present at another terminal of amino acid, this is known as N terminal. So depending on what type of functional group among this COOH and NH2 group present at the end of amino acid, that particular end be called either as C terminal if we have COOH group, or it can be called as N terminal if we have NH2 group. So the order of arrangement of amino acid in such a way that it give rise to a chain-like structure is termed as primary structure of protein. Now let us see what is the secondary structure or 2-degree structure of proteins are. The secondary structure or 2-degree structure of protein is depend on the nature of hydrogen bonding which exist in between the strands of protein. This means whether the hydrogen bonding is within a single strand or whether this hydrogen bonding is in between two strands of This will ultimately give rise to a definite stretch or a pattern to the protein, which ultimately is responsible for its secondary structure. Now, this secondary structure not only gives a definite arrangement or a pattern to a protein molecule, rather it is also responsible, or it also impart a particular characteristic to the protein. So on the basis of hydrogen bonding is either between the two strands of protein molecule, or this hydrogen bonding is well within a single strand of protein molecule, this will ultimately give rise to two definite arrangement, that is alpha helix and beta helix like structure in a protein. So, depending this hydrogen bonding, the protein can be conformed, or it can have a conformation which can be ultimately be alpha helic or alpha helical, or beta helix or beta helical, depending. In alpha helix type structure, the protein have a right-handed coiled strand. And the side chain substituent, this S/C indicates side chain. The side chain substituent of amino acid in this alpha helix of protein are get extended outside. And here, that is in alpha helix, the hydrogen bonding is between the carbonyl oxygen, that is C double bond O. It is hydrogen bonding is in between this carbonyl oxygen of one amino acid with this NH group of another amino acid within a single strand of protein. I am again repeating here, the hydrogen bonding in alpha helix or in alpha helical structure of protein is in between the carbonyl oxygen of one amino acid with NH functionality or group of another amino acid within a single strand. And as the hydrogen bond is formed between these two functionality well within a single strand, The such bond is known as intra-strand hydrogen bonding. Why it is called intra-strand hydrogen bonding? This is because here the hydrogen bonds are well formed in a two different groups present in a single strand of protein. So this is the representation for alpha helix. Now let us see what is beta helix. In beta helix, here also the hydrogen bond is formed between the carbonyl oxygen and NH functionality. However, here in this case of beta helix, the bonding or formation of hydrogen bonding is between two different strands of two different strands of protein, rather any single strand. So here, by this depiction, we can easily be identify here that the hydrogen bonding is here in case of beta helix is formed between two different chains of protein, or it is formed between two different strands of protein, and as here the carbonyl functionalities belongs to one chain and the NH group belongs to second chain, such type of hydrogen bonding which is formed between two different chains of protein will ultimately be known as inter-strand hydrogen bonding. So we can easily be identify here in case of this secondary structure which is on the basis of hydrogen bonding, we can discriminate that in alpha helix the hydrogen bonding is well within the same strand of protein between two functionality, and in beta helix the hydrogen bonding is in between two strands of protein, each carry different functional group in order to form bond. So the beta helix, the hydrogen bonding is said to be inter-strand hydrogen bonding, as the bonds are formed between two different strands of protein molecule. However, in a case of alpha helix, the hydrogen bonding is said to be intra-strand hydrogen bonding, as here the bonds are formed between two functionalities present in the same strand of protein molecule. So now we will see, or let us look into the tertiary structure or 3D structure of protein. So the tertiary structure of protein indicates its three-dimensional structure or 3D structure as it is represented here. This is the tertiary structure of protein, and we can here see that this tertiary structure of protein contains alpha as well as beta helix. So for the purpose of simple depiction, I here made this tertiary structure of protein. These are the strands of protein, which you can see it sometime, or it seems like they are intermingled or they are randomly arranged. This may gives us an assumption that this arrangement or the arrangement of this strand in the protein is irregular. However, in a general sense, this is not so. It's only something which we can ultimately be seen by our eyes. This is not a case that the tertiary structure of protein is a random or it is an irregular structure, or it seems to be not well arranged. However, the tertiary structure of protein is a much stable, or this particular structure, the reason for this particular structure to have number of bends and twists is to pack the protein, or these bend or twist are ultimately packed the protein in such a way that it will have lowest possible energy. And once it have the lowest possible energy, it will have a very good stability, or the protein molecule have a very nice or high stability pattern. So, as we can see here, the tertiary structure consists of alpha and beta helix. I here depicted the beta helix by a yellow band, and other strand by another color, which is for alpha helix. So this particular arrangement, this three-dimensional arrangement of protein, which is having number of bends and twists, indicates the 3D structure or the tertiary structure of protein. So under normal physiological condition, the non-polar amino acids For an example, isoleucine or phenylalanine are get embedded in the interior of protein. And hence, they are not get exposed to the aqueous medium. Now, the alkyl group of valine, isoleucine, leucine etc. forms hydrophobic linkage or hydrophobic interaction with each other. And in a case if aromatic groups as present, they formed a stalk like or stalk together. They are stalked together. For an example, if or in a case of phenylalanine or a tyrosine, and the acidic as well as the basic amino acids are exposed on the surface of protein due to their hydrophilic nature. Now, further stability in this particular structure or in the three-dimensional structure of protein is achieved by formation of, wherever possible, disulfide bridge, as in case of cysteine. To further, side by side, hydrogen bonds are also formed between the different side chain groups of amino acid, which ultimately responsible to bring the chains or different part of protein together. So this is how the tertiary structure is get stabilized, or this is how the tertiary structure will have lowest possible energy. So finally, let us discuss what is the quaternary structure of protein. Now, as we know that some proteins are constituted or consist of polypeptide as a subunit. Now these polypeptide subunits are responsible for generation of protein. Now these polypeptidal units or these polypeptide subunits, depending or can be homodimer or they can also be heterodimer. The quaternary structure of protein indicates how these subunits or how this homodimer and heterodimer are arranged or sequenced anyhow in order to have a complex protein structure. So, the quaternary structure of protein is nothing but an arrangement of homo or heterodimer in order to yield a complex or aggregated protein.